the Executive Trustee of Civic Bangalore. Let's extend a warm welcome to Ms. Katyayani Chamraj.
To mark this auspicious day, this evening, we have a delightful sequence of events lined up.
May I now invite Reverend Father Francis Balraj to welcome the gathering.
Good evening, respected dignitaries and my dear friends. A warm welcome to Indian Social Institute for the Human Rights Celebrations 2023. This year, we are celebrating 75th anniversary of Universal Declaration of Human Rights with the theme Equality, Freedom and Justice for All. It's a proud moment for all of us to celebrate our rights with the theme Yuva Hakku, Youth for Diversity, Inclusion and Human Rights. Dear friends, over the last 15 years, to commemorate the International Human Rights Day on 10th December, nearly 25 to 30 civil society, non-profit organizations, along with colleges, have been coming together to bring awareness among youth in and around Bengaluru on the rights of Dalits, Adivasis and religious minorities, persons with disabilities, women, children and adolescents, transgender and sexual minorities, farmers and migrant laborers, urban poor, health and other rights through creative events such as WhatsApp campaign, talks, lectures, seminars, film screening, street play, skit, photography competition, candlelight vigil, debate and essay writing competition, etc. with the objective of bringing awareness and consciousness among the youth in Bengaluru and different parts of Karnataka. Celebrating rights takes place from 1st December until 10th December by various organizations organizing programs on each day with the theme. I wish and pray that these precious 10 days do not end with mere celebrations, but bring about consciousness among ourselves and others on our rights, especially of the marginalized and the affected in society. Dear friends, the need of the hour today in our country and world at large is right to equality, freedom and justice for all, as we are commemorating rightly today. While looking at the present tragedies of war and injustices around us, we need to awaken our consciousness to protect the right and dignity of every human person. Once again, a warm welcome to you for the inaugural program of Human Rights Celebrations. Now I invite you all to take a pledge on the oath to fight against HIV/AIDS together. Today is the December 1st World AIDS Day. Let us all stand together and take the pledge. Let us stretch our right hand forward. Please repeat after me. I pledge to stop HIV stigma by learning more about HIV and sharing that knowledge with others. If we all do our part, we can stop HIV together. Thank you.
Thank you, Father, for setting the tone for the evening.
I now invite the St. Aloysius College Choir to lead us into prayer with a song.
dimension to our evening. We have a special video presentation by Mr. Selman from St. Joseph's University. Let's direct our attention to his scenes.
A ceremony that symbolizes the triumph of light over darkness. I invite Reverend Dr. Selvaraj Arunathan and our esteemed chief guest and guest of honor and student representatives Nisha from Aloysius College and Anusha from Acharya Institution to join us for the lighting of the lamp.
In recognition to their exceptional contributions, we now have a special segment to honor our dignitaries. May I now request Ms. Cheryl from SIGRIM to introduce the chief guest.
Good evening, everyone. I'd like to introduce the chief guest for today's inauguration. Professor Dr. D. Jaishankar is the founder, principal director, and professor of criminology and justice sciences of the International Institute of Justice and Police Sciences. Before founding the International Institute of Justice and Police Sciences in 2022, Professor Jaishankar held several positions like Dean, Head of the Department, Syndicate Member, Professor of Criminology, and Senior Assistant Professor of Criminology, and at two major public universities in India. He was a Commonwealth Fellow at the Center of Criminal Justice Studies, School of Law, University of Leeds, and UK. He is the founder father of cyber criminology. He is recently ranked 16th among the top 25 influential criminologists in the world during 2010 and 2020 by academic ranking site Texas. He has published several papers in peer-reviewed journals. Thank you. I would like to call upon Father Selvaraj, Director ISI, to do the honors for the chief guest.
I request Mr. Ashok Maridas from Samvidhana Adihari to introduce the guest of honor.
Our guest speaker this evening is Ms. Katyayani Chandraj, who is known to most of us in Bangalore, and many of us have worked with her over the years. And she's known to many of us through her work as a journalist. She's a freelance journalist, and she's contributed to most of the leading dailies of India. And she's also one of the founders of Civic Bangalore, and she's still heading it till date. And Civic has been contributing in the space of governance issues, and she's been raising and she's been spearheading many of the campaigns on issues that concern governance in India. And she's also a recipient of many awards that include Lifetime Bengaluru Women's Achievers Award, Eminent Citizens Award, Bangalorean of the Year 2015, Kadri Shamanna Award, and so on. I now call upon Mr. Hemant Kumar, Assistant Professor, St. Aloysius, and Ms. Smriti from Acharya to honor. Thank you.
May I now request Mr. Manjunath from Indian Social Institute to introduce Reverend Dr. Selvaraj.
Good evening, everyone. Reverend Dr. Selvaraj Arunathan S.J. is a Jesuit priest belonging to Chennai Jesuit Province, Tamil Nadu. Presently, he serves as a director of Indian Social Institute, Bangalore. He is academically qualified in sociology, philosophy, and theology that enables him to interdisciplinary approach to social research, communication. He holds his doctorate in Dalit and Black, studies specifically in the realm of social consciousness, constructions towards emancipation. He has completed research study on land acquisition versus appropriation, perspectives of the marginalized communities in South India, and undertaken yet another study on social exclusion and educational development of people in unclaimed occupation. He also conducted another research on Origin Christians of Wayanad, Kerala, in collaboration with Professor John Puthenkalam, Sophia University, Tokyo, Japan, and published as Global Development Partnership Impact Analysis of Tribals in Kerala, India. He has contributed to the publication of social action training modules, scheduled caste subplan, tribal subplan, research methodology of social action and communication, and social empowerment direct engagement. A warm welcome to you, Father. This time I would like to request Mr. Selvin, Assistant Professor of St. Joseph University, to honor the Director of ISI. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's now give our undivided attention to our chief guest, Dr. K. Jaishankar, who has graciously consented to share his insights with us.
Perfect.
Good evening, everyone. It's a great pleasure to be here in Indian Social Institute, and I take this opportunity to thank Sister Margaret from Sikkim, who introduced me to Indian Social Institute, and of course, Cheryl Madam is here who invited me. And I also thank Dr. Reverend Selvaraj Arunathan sir, the director of the institute, to invite me as a chief guest here. And this is my first visit to the Indian Social Institute. And I was briefed by Dr. Father regarding the history of the institute. It's celebrating the Diamond Jubilee, and very happy about that. And also today we have our guest speaker, Madam Katyayani. And I was also briefed about her achievements in Bangalore, especially in urban governance. And very happy to know that we are also working in the area of criminal justice governance. So before moving to my presentation, I would like to introduce my institute. It's the International Institute of Justice and Police Sciences. It is in Electronic City, Bangalore. We are a 1.5-year-old institute, and we are an academic institute and as well as a think tank. And we work on policy papers, and we work in various areas related to justice. And one of the key areas is criminology and model, but we work in more other areas also. And as a founder of the field called cyber criminology, so I found that it would be very pertinent to speak on the human rights in the cyberspace and its impact in the physical space, for a reason that because most of the speakers and others will be well known the UN Declaration of Human Rights and other aspects of the constitutional area. But I thought if this is a need at all, and the contemporary thing where we are now dwelling more in cyberspace compared to the physical space. So a survey says that at least Indians are 6 hours spending per day online. So that's a very long period, because 8 hours per day we are always our working hours, and sleeping and other areas, then you see that most of the time we are in online only. In fact, while at the meetings in lecture also, many people are online. So that transition happens. So that is what I call as a space transition, that how humans move from one space to another and how they have issues. But there are very thin lines at the present moment. Next slide. So you can see that the digital age, we have transformed ourselves into a different human being because of the fact that it gives kind of immense amount of freedom and interconnectedness. And there is no proper line, blurring lines are there now between the real world and the virtual world. So we do not understand we are in the virtual world, but we think that it may be in the real world also. It raises fundamental and crucial questions related to the human rights. Because we think that the human rights are inherent only in the physical space, but I believe that it is in the cyberspace too, because as a space we are dwelling more in that area. So next slide please. So you can see that the digital age has made us to connect with people in a various way, our communication of ideas, and there is no geographic boundaries. So at the present moment also, this lecture is being streamlined, so anybody, any part of the world can view this lecture, and that way they can be benefited. On the other hand, people who are sitting in the audience, they are also connecting various people through their social media handles like Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, posting about that particular this program, and then immediately it is reaching to the corner of the world, any part of the world, and that makes the cyberspace more interesting because it gives the kind of immense freedom, and it connects with the theme of the UN Declaration, equality, freedom and justice for all. So the conventional physical space is governed by various laws related to society and various laws related to the state, which takes away the equality and justice and freedom. Whereas the space, which is the internet, is gives immense amount of freedom because it is built inbuilt on it. And you see the growth of the internet is for the past 20 years in a very big way. And the moment the principles of justice are brought into that and equality is brought into that, people do not understand that it is a space which is giving that. But still, you can see that most of the people are dwelling without knowing that. But you can see there is a collaboration with people because of that. But however, next. This space is also not devoid of challenges, like the physical space, the real world we are facing on a day-to-day basis, like how our rights are violated. The same goes to the online spaces where you will find that, especially online harassment, and more number of women are attacked online compared to men harassment because of the fact that a society which is driven by patriarchy is no different from cyberspace too, because it will pervade. Whatever ideas we have in the physical space, we are going to export it to the cyberspace, and naturally women are vulnerable in both spaces. And hate speech has grown in a very big way. You will find that trolling and things have become normalized now online, and hating anybody in terms of their religion, caste, or their body shaming, everything is becoming normalized because of the fact that access to people have come in their hand with their mobiles. So hate speech has become a normal one. Apart from that, censorship is also happening where some people are not allowed to access cell phone. In certain villages you will find that UP and other places, the Kaw Panchayats type of panchayats have given some dictum that women should not own a cell phone or use internet. So this kind of censorship private bodies are doing, and of course government is also doing certain censorship. And you see there are two types of society. One is a closed society and an open society. And when the closed society like Pakistan, Iran, Iraq and others, they have their own dictum, what they have, people can do and what people cannot be. And especially China is also in that bracket where you can see that. And currently in Indian nation also, we are facing certain censorship at some points in time where there will be an internet lockdown, or certain sites you cannot visit at some point of time because the government thinks that it is a problematic thing, and the government also created and coined a new word, urban nexus, and so that kind of people who are in the intelligentsia having a website, and those kind of websites may be targeted by the state. Next. So privacy is dead. So earlier we had privacy, and most of the theologians, including Father, believe God is everywhere. Now camera is everywhere. People are not afraid of God, but people are afraid of camera. Because everywhere we are watched, and this is a typical panopticon model developed by Jeremy Bentham in the prison, where one person can sit in one place and watch the entire prison. So that is what now happening with the cameras in both the way that the private agencies or the governmental agencies. We are watched on a day-to-day basis, and we are watched online also. So we do not understand that when we give our consent, I agree in the WhatsApp or other social media forum. It's not free because we have given our consent to take our data, and the people are watching us like a one-sided wall. So we are this side and that side somebody is watching us. Our conversations are watched. Everything is watched in Silicon Valley of California. But we do not know that. We tend to be the other side of the wall. So we think that we have privacy. So in spite, many of the social media giants say that we provide privacy, like WhatsApp and others, encryption and all. So I don't believe in all these things. Privacy is not there. And your personal data, so that is what is becoming more vulnerable, because when anything is free, nothing is free. So in this world there is nothing is free except for mother's milk. Everything is mother's milk also now they are selling in online Amazon. But why everything is free is that way, because we are the commodity. So when we are commodity, then they are selling us. They are selling to various parties. And that makes a problem. So we want to go online, but at the same time, how to manage privacy first. That we will discuss in a few slides next week. And you can see that there are a lot of collaboration opportunities online. So you can collaborate with for a university, you can collaborate with any individual abroad, or anybody, any part of the world. And we don't have boundaries. Transcend the geographical limitations. The maps are blurred online, so there's nothing like a country or anything online, and that gives us a little bit of bigger space for us. And the right to freedom of expression is also inherently built, as I pointed out, because you see the internet is a space, not necessarily an international space. So everybody thinks like that, but it is more an American space, and it is governed by the American Constitution and gives immense amount of freedom, and that's how you see most of the crimes do happen online, so which I will be discussing next. Next slide, please. In terms of ethical considerations, so you can see that the artificial intelligence have come now in a big way, and also biotechnology and other things have come. And it has dilemmas both online and offline also. And many questions are there regarding the consent and autonomy, and also the discrimination of people online. You'll find that. So I'll come back to that on the other one. So next slide, please. So today we are going to see something like the relationship between various aspects on the human rights, the digital age, and the physical age. Because you can see that there is a combination of everything where the intersection allows us to understand the human rights in both the spaces. Because whatever we do online, it has an impact on the physical space. So don't think that I have done something online and come back to the offline space doesn't have an impact. So now we need to explore this particular relationship, and we can make some ethical practices and also make some informed policy making on this, and we can safeguard the fundamental human rights. So at the point of this time in 2023, I believe that in another 20 years, the line between the cyber and the physical will be very, very thin. Actually now itself it's very thin. And most of the time we are uploading Aadhaar card to many places without knowing where it goes with, and even our Aadhaar card data is very vulnerable, but still government says it's not vulnerable. In fact, when Jio came into picture, it came with an idea to have the data, so that's why it came very free. So the government gave a private corporation, and it allowed for free data, and now you see more data is available, and more data is available is one way it's good and one way it's bad, because people do not know how to utilize the data available. So now we need to think on the integration of all these things related to human rights vis-a-vis the cyber and the physical space. So my first point would be cyberspace as a human rights arena and how it becomes a human rights arena. See, traditionally we are talking more about the justice, equality and freedom. And what means cyberspace is different from the physical space. As I pointed earlier, you will find that the freedom of expression is immense. That means it is not controlled. In fact, in terms of the physical space, your right to freedom of speech is curtailed in certain spaces, but it is immense now. There is a section 67 of the Indian Information Technology Act which prohibits cyberbullying and trolling and others. But one time what happened is that two girls posted in Facebook related to Bal Thackeray's death. It's another day, that was the saying, and a girl liked it. And both of them were arrested under the section 67. So one advocate, she was Shreya Shindar, a law student, she went to the court and told that this curtails the freedom of speech. And the Supreme Court agreed, and then now they have removed this particular section. But very unfortunate thing is that when a particular law is removed by Supreme Court, the state should act into picture and bring a new law. So otherwise what happens is that again the same problem comes. So mainly this particular article is to prevent cyberbullying, harassment, etc. Now the space is more naked and more vulnerable. So anybody writes about anybody defames anybody, nothing is possible because when you go to the police will say that it is not a crime anymore. So that is the big problem with the freedom of expression in cyberspace. So people who cannot say in face will go to Facebook and say the same thing. So that makes us more vulnerable. So anybody can write about anybody or post or troll. And trolling has become a very common thing. It has become a common culture. People enjoy bullied or roasting. When there is a roasting, they call it. So these are all, I believe always there is a spillover between the cyber and the physical space. So whatever we are learning in cyberspace, at one point of time we are going to do that. So when we are going to cyber bully people, at one point of time we are going to bully others in the real space also. So let me one advantage with this particular arena is where you can find that it enables individuals. That's the means the power is in the hand of the individuals, where people can post their opinion, whether you have a left-oriented ideology, whether you are liberal, whether you are far right. Anybody can post their opinion. So that probably may not align with the current government's ideals or others, which will be like taken care in the physical space lightly, no, in a physical space very strongly, but not in the online space for the protection which is given by the American government's freedom of speech. And one of the other aspects you have seen that marginalized people will be silenced in the physical space, whereas the power, the democratization of expression is more online. So anybody can use their Facebook and other Twitter or other account, and they can express their opinion without being curtailed by any governmental control or anything like that. But still, there are instances where you find that police have controlled certain people, but when it goes to a very great extent and it harms certain individuals, then only the state comes into the picture. Otherwise, you can see that there is a millions of such things, and gives power to marginalized people to have voice. However, as I pointed, that cyberspace comes with its positive and negative notes also. As I pointed, that online harassment, hate speech and censorship are becoming a big challenge, and it will have a both impact on the online and the offline also. See, as I pointed, the cyberspace is more a virtual space. However, whatever we are doing there, we are going to leave digital imprints or digital footprints. And whatever pain we are going to get, it's not in the cyberspace, it's going to be in the physical space. So suppose somebody is bullying us, somebody is defaming us, it may be online, but the impact is offline, for reason that it is reaching masses compared to the physical space. So if somebody wants to defame a person in physical space, if they can put a poster, they can put 10 posters in Indian Social Institute, that's all. Or in this area, some 100 posters. But if it is online, it can be placed in millions of places. So the same persons can be defamed everywhere, and it can be also circulated by many. That is the danger, is that you see this is a culture of forward, that everybody forward and share. So they do not know the implications. People do share things without the knowledge of themselves. They go on sharing things, but it will have an impact on a particular individual. So you can see that people are becoming viral for so many reasons. For trivial reasons also they are becoming viral, for no reason also. But the pain they are getting as an individual is higher than any other kind of thing in the physical space. So hate speech is hate speech. You can see that it's happening because of the prejudice and discriminatory ideologies. So naturally, as I told, the spillover of the ideologies will happen. Where a person, if he's a communist, is going to go online communist. If it is a far right person, he's going to online and he doesn't become communist. So he's going to abuse people. So that way around, you'll find that the ideologies which a person practices in the real space is going to go online. Hate speech has become wrong. Otherwise, you will see that there is also a twist in that. A person may be normal, but when they go to online, they may send more hate speeches because they may control it, they can repress it. And next is censorship. I told you that it may be private censorship or government censorship. Both can happen. And that makes this space vulnerable. Next. So, what is the impact we are going to have because of these kind of activities on where you will find that the individual's mental health, safety and opportunity all are blocked. So, for example, the reviews are happening now in many things like Zomato or Swiggy or anybody else is asking review. And nowadays I am finding people are paying to write bad reviews also. That is very bad. The competitive businesses, they are sending somebody else to write bad reviews also. So immediately one bad review happened about one particular organization or a business, then immediately people go there and find that review and then they will not go and do businesses. So this is the kind of thing where blocked opportunities are going to happen by few people because somebody will have access to that particular thing because everybody which is open, writing a review has become open now. So that's one of the dangers we are going to see, and that affects people. And addressing these challenges is very crucial in both the online and offline human rights. However, the governments play a big role next, where because you see the governments have a control. Recently, the Indian government have blocked many sites, pornographic sites, and also blocked TikTok, a very popular site. But still, it's an ocean. It's an ocean where you will not find that where pornography material may evolve. And it's like a hydra monster. One side if you cut, another side it will come. And still the government is playing a role and they are collaborating with companies. So even a lot of hate speeches are there in Twitter, when the Indian government warned that Twitter will be closed down in India before Elon Musk took over and made it as an X. So the previous CEO was warned, but still the government could not do anything because it's not an easy thing. That's one big problem. But still certain spaces are taken care by some vigilant media also. And one of the recent example I would quote is that the closure of Omegle. Omegle is a software, it's a social networking site where individuals can go and speak with strangers. Anybody have used Omegle? So everybody would have used that. But it has become a den for pedophiles, and it has become a den for harassment and other things. So recently there was a suit against Omegle, and the Omegle owner has closed this particular site because of abuse and vulnerability. So companies also can take care of this activity, but still as a cyber technologist, I believe that the vulnerability is higher in this particular place. Next. So privacy in the digital age and how we are going to strike balance. So we want privacy, but at the same time we want access. Next. So in terms of the access, we'll say that we having a kind of a thin line or a big line. So the digital age blurs the lines between public and private. So what is public? What is private is no more there. So once we thought this a private thing has now become a public thing. So previous time, maybe some 30-40 years back, we used to write diaries, and that diaries will be kept secretly. If anyone reads the diary, we will be very unhappy and we will be angry also. But now we are doing the same diary in Facebook, in Instagram, and we are happy people are liking it. So that means what? So we are open to the public for a private things, our marriage photographs, our beach photographs, anything we are posting. So that means there is no line between public and private. So everything private now has become more public. But the problem is that when we are posting something and then it is taken by somewhere other people for some dangerous intention, that becomes a problem. So recently everybody would have seen the video of Rashmika Mandanna where her image was morphed with one other person called Zara Patel. So now after that has come, I have seen at least 10 to 20 Rashmika Mandanna's AI deep fake images. So that's becoming more vulnerable because of the fact that people now easily post photographs in Facebook or any other place. So anybody's photo, just Google. Even if you Google my name, Jai Shankar Criminology, my photographs will come, others can utilize it. But then what intention people are going to use that matters a lot with relation to our private and public life. So this also stops certain marginal population not to come to online, especially women are afraid of after this Rashmika Mandanna's image to come to online and post their images or videos. So there is a possibility of misuse. It was not new, it was earlier mobbed with some other body, but now the deep fake is so natural that people do not are not able to understand that it is that person or the other person. So that makes this very great problem within the cyberspaces. And you can see that the desire for connection also is needed. We are now wanting to connect more like anything. So in fact, cyberspace is giving a wonderful space for introverts and women and children where they can come out and connect with a lot of people. In the real space, you will see that always there is a power imbalances. So father is there, is a director, I am a professor, I am a senior person. So easily a junior person will not be able to connect because there is a power imbalance in the physical space. But the same thing easily you can chat with me in WhatsApp. Hello sir, how are you? That I will also respond. Same goes to anybody. You can even chat with Modi ji also. Anybody you can do. But in the real space it's not possible. So that you can see that we are able to connect, but at the same time we are not able to see that our privacy is gone in certain places. Next. So data is now the currency. Previously, the currency is different. Now data is the currency. So everybody is trying to hold the data of other person. So you have the data. Anything is priced now. It is even sold for price. That is how we are getting a lot of calls from the credit card companies and others because they are having our data. And you can see this commodification of the data. It is again a problem for privacy. And again, you can see that there are concerns with individual autonomy. So what is my autonomy and what is my freedom of expression? So where it goes and people can abuse using the kind of a data which I do not want to give or I was not intended to give that at all. But then state may come into picture and say that we are collecting the data because we want to have national security and we want to make a surveillance. So a lot of new surveillance laws are also going to come in the future because the current government believes in that kind of a society where control needs to be done. So new laws will come where in coming years more surveillance law will happen. And whether it is going to support the national security or whether it's going to oppose private or individual freedom, so we have to wait and watch. Next slide. So data breaches is already there. I told you that our data is not safe, even though people are saying that it is safe. Even other data is safe, people are telling, but I don't think it is safe in some point of time. And a lot of problem with relation to physical life happens because of the data breaches. Somebody has given our data and we are going to be sued. And identity theft is going to be a big issue in the future where our identity will be stolen and that person will commit a crime and we will be arrested for that particular crime. So this is a big problem which is going to happen now. And a lot of security measures are needed and we are a 1.4 billion population and it will be very difficult for the years to come to control these things. Next is it. So striking a balance, how are we going to do that? So technology companies, they come with a lot of responsibility and accountability, but again, they are sitting somewhere in the US, not here. So that is a big issue whether they are going to kind of do our understanding. And cultural differences is always there in physical and the online space. So what you speak in the offline space, when you go and speak in the online space may not be a offensive thing because the Facebook or other giants may not think so. Somebody you report to Facebook, you will find that they will say that it does not violate our community standards. So that means their community standards are very, very broad in nature, where even a small bad word, they will think that it is not offending anybody. So they will not remove that. But you will be affected. You will be continuously affected because that is circulating in the Facebook. So that is going to be a problem again. And legal frameworks, how we are going to do that. India doesn't have a specific law related to cybercrime. So we are having only a law which is called as Indian Information Technology Act 2000 and it is amended in 2008. But that is only for e-commerce it was in picture, but it doesn't make any sense. Only 5 to 6 provisions related to cybercrime is there. So a holistic cyber policy, a holistic cybercrime law like the UK and the US has to be brought in. So I hope that will happen. Next. So when it comes to cybercrimes, so I divide it into two types. One is interpersonal and also property-oriented crimes. But you see now more interpersonal crimes are happening because online everybody is vulnerable. However, we are talking more on the impact of business and the infrastructure and identity theft. All these are some of the examples now is coming in a big way. So traditional investigative methods are not going to work. The policing models, which the people are going to do surveillance or others, is not going to work because cyberspace is a space which doesn't have geography. There is no boundaries also. So how to monitor this space becomes a problem. So international collaboration is one thing, and increasing the technological expertise is another thing. All these things will make the particular cybercrime prevention more effective. Next one. So you see, one of the things online radicalization happening, and I think there was an exaggerated movie called Kerala Story, right? Kerala Files. Or before that, there was a Kashmir Files. But Kerala Files, that movie exaggerated, in the sense like 50 and more women were radicalized by ISIS. But data doesn't speak so, but the movie told so. But still, you will see that a lot of people are radicalized online and pulled towards extremist or terrorist movements. And that is a problem because you see that it's a space where people can go and they can mingle with people of that kind of a nature without their knowledge also. So we need, for some job purpose, they would have joined some group, but later we'll find that they have been pulled into radicalization. And countering radicalization and managing the nuanced approach of human rights is a big problem now. And also digital warfare is happening. So digital warfare is using online technology and attacking the other communities as well as the national security infrastructure. Next. So the fifth part which we are going to discuss is on digital inclusion and right to access for information. So this is one of the things I was talking with father that he was working on social inclusion. But how are we going to include marginalized people online? So you can see that there is a big digital divide. So earlier people haves and have-nots with the money, but now people with the knowledge or with the information. So the more the information, I am richer. Less the information, I am poor. And more information will happen to whom? Again, more richer people only. So less rich people will not have that kind of access to information which is available online. And you can see this digital divide is going to create a big problem. And lack of internet access is a big issue. As I pointed out, the penetration rate is less. In India, 6 hours people are using internet, but the penetration rate is very, very less. That only few pockets in the country have access to internet. And now, because of the arrival of Jio, probably the penetration has increased in 2023. But still, a lot of people are not having internet access. So, what will be a problem if there is no internet access? Because now the government is speaking more on digital economy. Most of the time now you see that we are not carrying even more than 100 rupees. So we have come to a situation, our buses are empty. Only we have a cell phone, and cell phone is not working. GPay is not working. We are not able to pay in some places, so it becomes a difficulty. But not everybody can own a smartphone and not everybody can have a bank account. So all these things are a problem with the digital divide, and it's perpetuating the current social inequality online also. Next. So it hinders the educational opportunities because you see most of the information online is available for free. So you can do some courses online in Harvard University or any elite universities you can do for free also. That kind of massive online open courses have come. But everybody cannot access for a reason that they may not have a mobile phone, or they may not have an internet access, or they may not have a tower in their area. You see, more towers are created only in rich areas. That also you should notice one. Poorer areas will not have towers. So internet access will be there. Since much towers are not there, the speed will reduce. So the amount speed is reducing. People will not be able to access the same kind of information as others. And marginalized groups will be disproportionately affected compared to these other people. Next. So one important thing is that right to be forgotten and balancing the privacy and privacy. We are doing a lot of activity online, but at one point of time we want to be dead. We want to come out of online and we want to erase the online identity. So that becomes the biggest problem. So right to be forgotten is one of the fundamental right of the cyberspace. We need to be forgotten. That means what and all we have posted in Facebook, what and all our writer, we have to, you see, even trolling many times happens with people, the politician. 5 years back, one person would have told something, and after now presently he would have told something. So now trollers will take that past 5-year data and collect with the current and say that, see, 5 years back this man supported this particular problem, now he is opposing this problem. So same person, two violence. So this is the problem, like, because everybody is in the timeline. So we don't live in history, we don't live in the past. But our past is living in internet. We don't want to keep it, but still the digital footprints are not so easy to erase. And that's where you see the right to be forgotten is very, very essential. And it requires for removal of outdated or online platforms is required. For example, I will make a simple example. Their boyfriend is there, girlfriend is there, they have a good relationship. They posted good photographs at one point of time. But after that, the relationship stopped. Then they both separated and they got married separately. But they want to remove these photographs which they have put, but unfortunately, it is not removed. And that is going to have an impact in the future married life. So you see, what and all is a very, very simple thing we thought has become a very complex thing because of the availability of the digital footprints which is going to be there eternally. And this is very, very important right to be forgotten. Next. But again, same, balancing the privacy, because as I told you, some data which we are requiring there should be there. Historical data should be there, crime data or other data. So that way you see that collective memory will be helpful. Also many other data we require to be online so that it will be safe. For example, some photographs, some other memories we want to keep it. So we can keep it online. But as I pointed, we need to have a balance between the privacy and freedom of expression and access to information. So all these things we need to have a balance. Next. So the last part is ethical considerations. So ethical considerations is again a very thin or blurred line, I would say. Because what is ethical to few may be unethical to others. So for example, a beef eater's behavior may be unethical to a vegetarian person. So this kind of ethicalness is in the physical space is available. Same goes to online also, where you can see that new technology like artificial intelligence is creating problem on ethics. The decision making in algorithm is creating a problem. And you see now the availability of algorithms. It gives wrong information. And in fact, many wrong information is given. And people like blacks or Dalits or minorities are portrayed in a very negative way by the artificial intelligence. Because the people who are inputting the ideas in artificial intelligence are humans only. So what and all biased ideas we have, that is given to artificial intelligence. But the problem is that artificial intelligence is more biased than the humans because it collects the ideas of too many people and gives as a holistic one. And that makes a big, big discrimination. Then an individual or a group in a particular society, in a state or a city, but online it gives a very, very big issue. So how are we going to do this? Because most of the time the algorithms are written by coders or other people in a biased way. So there the sociologists, now most of the companies are hiring anthropologists to incorporate some ideas which may not be biased. But still a lot of things are there which is going to discriminate few people online, and how we are going to do that. And technological determinism, that means they design that already what kind of person you are, whether you are a feminist, whether you are a humanist, whether you are a communist or a capitalist, to what kind of person you are already. Somebody writes in ChatGPT, immediately what kind of picture is given about you. This matters a lot because that can be spread again by some other artificial intelligence websites or other people also. Next. So again, the final thing is to achieve balance, which we are going to discuss how we are going to achieve balance is a big problem, and ethical frameworks are required. And now ongoing dialogue is there. Recently Elon Musk told that artificial intelligence and other related things should be stopped. But how to stop technology? Because when human cloning came in 2000, a lot of governments opposed the idea that the human cloning should not happen. So somewhere or other they have stopped it. But how are we going to stop artificial intelligence? Because one way it's going to help us, and another way it's going to also create problems to us. So still a lot of things are needed. Some of the recommendations for them, a multi-pronged approach. We cannot stop vulnerability or anything human right violation online by only one person or one company or others, but it needs collective concepts with society, NGOs, civil society, individuals. Everybody should come into conglomeration and then make a collaboration to create some new policies. And every government should create some new policies in relation to the newer crimes that are happening online now. So that becomes difficult for the state because state is making laws at one point of time, and still in India we are following only the British laws in many things. And even the new laws now the government is going to change it, but still it is only a old wine in a new bottle. Nothing new is happening because the laws in total should be repealed, which is very, very difficult. And this is going to impact because we want to have a safe and inclusive environment online. So to conclude, I made 7 points. And the 7 points I will say that how the cyberspace has a human rights arena presents opportunities, which was not there before. You see, in 2003, I joined academia. At the time, a clerk was holding UGC norms, a printout. So if I go and ask him, he will not give me. So he threatened me that I will not give you now, I will give you after some time. So I was dependent on him. But within 4 to 5 years, UGC started uploading the UGC regulations online. Then after that, the clerk asked me, why are you not coming to me? I told that you are going to give me only one page, but UGC has given the entire regulation. I am not going to come to you anymore. So that is the thing now. So in Google or any search, you can make simple searches and it's going to give you opportunity. You see, Naukri.com and other platforms are giving jobs. Any jobs are available for people now, which are now prohibiting the others, like in the physical space, caste system is there, class, all these things which stop the people, but in online it is not there. Even vulnerability of women, some person may not give a job to women, so that is also now gone because of the available of the cyberspace, and that's where it's more a human rights space we can say. Next. And the digital age offers a lot of things, but also comes with privacy issues, which we discussed. And the fundamental right to privacy should be enshrined, and which becomes difficult because of the fact that it's governed by the American rules, and the WhatsApp, Facebook, and all these social networking giants, they have the rules and regulations. And also when you install the software, you have to agree or disagree. But nobody reads that. They will agree, but a lot of things are inside. You have to read and then only agree, but we are not going to do that because it is free. So when it is free, that means it comes with a lot of complications with your privacy, and they should be protected also. So the symbiotic relationship between the cybersecurity and human rights is going to define our future of the digital age, because one way we want protection, The other thing we want our data to be protected, our identity to be protected, but at the same time, we also want to have access to information. And we have to build a cyberspace which is holistically human rights oriented, and certain ethical practices and standards should be managed. And bridging the gap between the haves and have-nots, like that, bridging the gap between the people who are having the internet or not, is a moral imperative, not a kind of a technology one, but everybody should have access to information, and so only we can create a just global society. Next. So right to be forgotten, I spoke earlier, and that is one of the rights which we need to talk about. And but what we are going to do with the freedom of expression? Are we going to keep it, or are we going to lose it? Because some people overshare online. They put a lot of things of private information online. Some people do not even go to online. So there is a balance between many issues in relation to cyberspace. And we can see that whether law alone can stop this, because law alone cannot stop that. Law is available, but law alone cannot stop all these issues. Moral and ethical standards should be inbuilt with certain structures and certain people. Next. So ethical stand we are going to take an ethical stand, because it's a very important tool and very useful tool, and we should not be misused for other purposes. But most of the time it happens that people are using it for other purposes, like harassing others, bullying others, or calling others, or looting others. So internet has become a wonderful space for criminals. And normal people also go there and become criminal and come back to the society as a normal people. So that we need to have an ethical stand on that. Okay, thank you very much. So, if I can take one or two questions, you are welcome.
Professor, it was really inspiring and very innovative, and I was much excited about this topic, but somehow I'm connected to this topic in my research also. And I think it was very comprehensive talk, and was really impressed and all. Thank you so much. Second, yeah, about many doubts, but one doubt which I feel is I need to clarify. So always there's a tension between digital natives and immigrants. What happens in a simple scenario in a family, the parents, they depend on children. Even to order something, fruit or maybe anything, parents do not know. They depend on their daughters and sons and who are youngsters. So in that way, it has given a sense of pride within a family. The children who are digital natives, they are born when this technology is here. And they feel a kind of superior. Oh, I know many things than my parents. And on the other side, parents do not know what's happening in this digital age. Many things happening they do not know. And many times parents, students have really, they have cheated their parents. Parents do not know. So I feel there's also a lot of tension between that and a huge gap. So maybe what are the ways we can address this issue? Maybe I think it's a very complex issue. Maybe a few pointers I'm very happy to know.
So maybe one more. Anybody else is there will take one or two?
I'll answer this. So this is not a new issue. Always there is a native and an immigrant. When you were a child, you were a native, and your parents were immigrants. One thing is that tools are changing. So now one advantage is that it has given power to people, which was not there. So if you see that earlier times, who owns the remote is the powerful person in the home. Mostly it is the mummy in the evening times watching the serials. So mummy is powerful at the time. But other times, Appa is powerful, father is powerful. But now, power imbalances are broken because everybody is owning a cell phone. So if mummy is watching serial, what is my problem? I go to my room and I use my cell phone and chat with my friends. So the kind of power has been spread with people. So it is not like somebody has become more powerful. I would say that equal amount of power has been spread. However, the newer children are different from the previous age because the empathy quotient is reducing now. That is the vulnerability or the cyberspace is giving because the current people lack empathy compared to the previous generation. Many studies are telling that because internet is giving many information which is necessary and which is unnecessary also. So there is no proper channelization or socialization process which happened earlier. Like here there is a theological institute, here there is a missionary, where we are working on kind of a philosophy, taking some people on a particular route. But internet is a very vast thing that you cannot put a person on a particular road. So it's a very big road. Anybody can go in any road. We do not know that, and that makes now young children more vulnerable. And the knowledge is not the typical knowledge that internet gives, because internet gives the knowledge which others want to give to you. That is the thing. When you search in Google, the first 10 pages is not coming according to your expectation. It is coming because somebody has paid money to Google to come the first 10 pages. So we will not go more than 3 pages. Sir. So first 3 pages only we are going to search information. And this information is a motivated information by some corporates. So that means what? Already the information is fed up with an idea. So if you search a particular topic, immediately first 10 pages is already mostly a paid pages. Okay, and Wikipedia always comes into picture, you will understand that. Okay, whenever you search any topic, Wikipedia will come in second, because Wikipedia is paying Google a lot of amount to make their website to come into picture. So as pointed, some of the suggestions, it would be very difficult because you see, one point is that India or Eastern society like Japan, China, we are all kind of a collective society. But now internet is a American-based system, which is more an individual society. So now we are all becoming Americanized. Earlier we were all like English people, we were slaves to them. Now we are going to be the slaves of the Americans, and they want to divide us. So no more joint families and no more one usage. There is no one TV, every room will have a TV, every room will have a cell phone, everybody will have. So you see in a family, everybody is becoming individuals. So very difficult to stop individualization process in a collective society to us, and this conflict is going to become bigger because in mind we are collective, but in our action we have become more individual, and that is why many people want to go to US. They do not want to stay in our country because of the fact that society is giving a lot of freedom, and that is available within the systems.
So there are some questions related to network society. What are the objectives of a network society? What is the ultimate purpose for which this network society is established? Is getting defeated ultimately when it is not able to bring out those particular qualities that it's supposed to, like equality. And so in that way, to what extent the network society has taken the postmodernity? I wanted to get up from this.
Network society in the physical space or in the cyberspace? Yeah. So this, why network society happened is that because of the fact that information should be common to us. So that is where the equality comes into picture. And because information is power. So in earlier times, certain sector or certain section of people only held the information. Now information is available to everyone, and that is the success of the internet, which is giving a kind of free knowledge to people, and it is not held by people. Like earlier times, teachers held a certain knowledge. Now, because of the network society, everybody can access the internet. So the failure part is something that we have to wait and watch. It is still not a failure because the access to the internet happened very recently. And you see the social media sites only brought access to the internet. And earlier email also is there, but more people came into connection with others only after the time of the social media. That happens somewhere around 15 to 20 years. So we need to wait for another 30 years to see that whether it goes to failure or not. But we are going to face complications because of the cultural differences between various society and
norms and values of one society will conflict with the other. Already I have got a theory called space transition theory. You can search in Google where I have told that the conflict of norms of the real space with the cyberspace will create crimes. So I have already mentioned that. So in future, how we are going to manage that, still we have to wait and watch. Because still this space will never become an international space. It will be owned by the American government and American group of people, the companies, Google and others. And our data will be vulnerable in the hands of the foreign people. And that misuse, we cannot stop at the present moment.
Thank you, Professor, for your insightful words. We also have the privilege of hearing Ms. Katyayani Changraj. Please welcome her to the podium with a round of applause.
Good evening, everybody. Is it working? Dignitaries on the dais and all my friends here in front of me. I wish to thank Indian Social Institute first of all for inviting me and giving me the special privilege of sitting on the dais on this very auspicious occasion of Human Rights Day or Human Rights Week celebration. And I'm really privileged to be here today evening, and I thank you from the bottom of my heart for giving me this privilege and for also felicitating me, which was totally unexpected and almost unnecessary. All of us are equal here. Everybody here who is here to celebrate human rights, deserves praise and that they are all here unitedly to celebrate human rights. I think everybody deserves to be appreciated and applauded for it. And I appreciate Indian Social Institute for always bringing everybody together without any discrimination and celebrating these events in such a fine manner, in such an inclusive manner. And I've been asked to speak for about 10 minutes. And actually, our keynote speaker, Mr. Jaishankar, has given a very apolitical speech. So, but the current situation in which we are, it demands that we become more political, because we living in Karnataka, we come from a culture which speaks about equality, fraternity, and inclusivity. We have grown with that culture. That is why we proclaim Karnataka as Sauharda Karnataka, which spreads fraternity. But we are finding ourselves in a situation which is totally opposed to that. That is something very new for us, to live in a culture which promotes hate, which promotes discrimination, which promotes lack of freedom, to be what you are, to practice what you believe in. So it becomes inevitable that we become political today in Karnataka, and we have proven that we don't want this kind of discrimination and a society that promotes hate, because we have grown with the other culture. So we have rejected that kind of culture, and we have voted for a more secular, a more inclusive and sustainable kind of government. So the theme also for today is very, very topical: equality, freedom and justice. And I'm afraid that we are facing a situation in the country where there is no equality, there is no freedom and there is no justice. We have to come face to face with that political reality. And we all know that equality means everybody should have a right to dignified living. But all international studies are saying how unequal our society is becoming, and inequality is growing by leaps and bounds. We have people becoming billionaires and world's richest men, while the rest of us at the bottom of the ladder are not even able to have a dignified life or even have a sustenance, our basic needs. And that was so evident during COVID, that when we have lost our livelihood, others have become billionaires. So this is totally divorced from equality, and we have only seen inequality growing. And the inequality is becoming so pronounced that in the name of religion we are doing discrimination. Now if at all this Citizenship Amendment Act comes, it is totally discriminatory and totally in violation of our constitution. It says you cannot discriminate on the basis of religion, but we are told even yesterday that this Citizenship Amendment Act is going to come, which is going to say that if you belong to a particular religion, you will not get citizenship. So we are going to make a huge percentage of our population stateless people, and ask them to either go out of this country or become or live in discriminatory camps where they will not have any citizens' rights. So that is where we are going in terms of inequality. And what about freedom? Our freedom to wear our dress, to practice our faith, to eat what we want, to marry whom we want, all that is being denied. And but the freedom to lynch, to promote hate, to go and kill anybody, to go and bulldoze anybody's home, that freedom is growing. So this is totally, contrary to our constitutional values and principles. And so we need to really come together to fight against this. And what about justice? What about the justice to the farmers, the Dalits, the Adivasis, and even women, who have been over millennia discriminated? What is the kind of justice? All that they are being given is slogans, Everybody will be included, everybody will be developed, everybody's confidence will be taken. I mean, it's all being said in Hindi. I will have to say that, sabka vikas, sabka saath, sabka vishwas and all that. But where do we see it on the ground? So where is the justice when employers are having more and more profits, but even minimum wages are being denied to our lowest level workers? And the employers who are having more and more profits are saying we cannot even pay minimum wages. So where do we have justice for the lowest level worker? Now we saw how the 41 workers suffered in the tunnel. We don't even know if that tunnel was necessary, and how they suffered for 17 days, and how difficult it was to give them their right to life. So we are exploiting them on the one hand. We are not giving them minimum wage. We are not giving them safe working conditions or safe non-hazardous working conditions, but we are denying them even their basic minimum wage. And at the same time, we are allowing the corporate people to become wealthier and wealthier, and claim that they cannot even give basic needs to the workers who work for them and create our facilities for us. And justice also means that the farmers should be given minimum support price, and promises that were made to them have not been kept after 3 years, so that you must have seen last 3 days they have sat in dharna for 3 days in Freedom Park, and even to protest you have to take permission. So where is your freedom of expression? Where is your freedom of dissent? If you criticize somebody, if you criticize the government, you will be put in jail. So, but the freedom to, certain people have all the freedom to even violate the code of conduct during elections. Nothing is done to them, but some trivial things that other people do, they're immediately sent notices. So there, what they're saying is not just the government's actions, it's also the institutions that are supposed to be autonomous, whether it's the Election Commission, the Information Commission, the ED, the CPI, whatever they are lost their autonomy and they're curbing all our freedoms. And there's absolutely no justice in what is happening in all that. So, for justice to happen, we want proper wages for everybody, we want social security for everybody, and I think if we are wanting to become a 5 trillion economy and become the 3rd largest economy in the world, then we should be capable of giving the last person in our country all his basic needs, which we are failing to do. What's the use of becoming the 3rd largest economy if our per capita income is going to remain $2,400, which is among the lowest in the world? We have other neighboring countries like China or even other Southeast Asian countries which have much higher per capita income, even though they are not the biggest economies in the world. So unless we distribute the benefits of growth equally to everybody, what is so glorious about becoming the 3rd largest economy? And our workers deserve some social security so that in their old age, or if they are, like what happened in the tunnel, if they are hurt, if there is an accident, if there is some disability that happens due to an accident, what is the kind of compensation we are giving them? So they claim that they have brought labor laws to provide justice to everybody. But if you look at the labor laws, it's only promoting the organized sector laws so that they have total social security, but the unorganized, who are the majority in the country, who are 93% of the population, there is nothing for them. So it is a perpetuation of the cultural hegemony that has been there in our country over millennia. Now there is a discussion about Sanatana Dharma, and some people are saying we have to get rid of Sanatana Dharma because it promotes discrimination. But that is being totally misinterpreted, and because whoever is in power is interested in perpetuating Sanatana Dharma, which talks of discrimination. And we will never become an equal society if we continue with that. Our constitution should become our dharma, not the dharma of any particular religion. And we have lost our way in by looking at religion as a hallmark for our political life. So I think I've spoken enough, more than 10 minutes maybe. So I think what we need to do is the Sauharda Karnataka that we have grown up with, we need to continue that and see that those values are spread across the country so that we all become one community with one way of life and with total inclusion of all faiths and all languages and all religions. And that is the only way we can stop this inequality from growing, and we need to become a compassionate society which cares for everybody. So I think Karnataka can show the way, and we need to spread the message to all other states also before the coming elections. I love to say that. So thank you so much for inviting me and giving me this opportunity. And I'm sure that whatever I tried to express is what is being felt by all of you, and there's nothing special that I am saying. It's something everybody is feeling and understanding and knowing. So thank you once again for giving me this opportunity, and thank you to ISI for bringing us all together to express our views and be united and inclusive. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am, for your words of wisdom. Now we have treat for the soul as the students from Acharya Institution are Mount Carmel, from Mount Carmel, Adra and Aksa to share their poetic talents with us. Acharya? I'm sorry, they're from Acharya Institution.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Aksa, and
My name is Artha.
we are students from Acharya Institute of Graduate Studies, and we are extremely grateful for this opportunity. Respected dignitaries on this, today as a part of the Human Rights celebration, we will be reciting a poetry by Maya Angelou. The name of the poetry is Equality. Equality is the state of being equal, especially in status, rights and opportunities. Equality means each individual or group of people is given the same resource and opportunities regardless of their circumstances. This is exactly the essence of this Human Rights Celebration Week. In Maya Angelou's poem, she begins her poem by exploring the rosy interpretation of the world through the eyes of the blissfully ignored. The general you she addresses in her poem is the unmoving society in which we live.
Maya Angelou was a poet, historian, author, actress, playwright, civil rights activist, producer, and director. She lectured throughout the US and abroad and was Renaissance Professor of American Studies at Wake Forest University in North Carolina since 1981. She published 10 best-selling books and numerous magazine articles, earning her Pulitzer Prize and National Book Award nominations. At the request of President Clinton, she wrote and delivered a poem at his 1993 presidential inauguration. Now we'll read the poem.
Equality. You declare you see me dimly through a glass which will not shine. Though I stand before you boldly, trimmed in rank and marking time, you do on to hear me faintly as a whisper out of range, while my drums beat out a message and the rhythms never change. Equality, and I will be free. Equality, and I will be free.
You announce my ways are wanted, that I fly from man to man. But if I'm just a shadow to you, could you ever understand? We have lived a painful history. We should know the shameful past. But I keep on marching forward and you keep on coming last. Equality and I will be free. Equality and I will be free.
Take the blinders from your vision, take the panic from your ears, and confess you have heard me crying, and admit you have seen my tears.
Hear the tempo, so compelling. Hear the blood drop in my veins. Yes, my drums are beating nightly, and the rhythms never change. Equality, and I will be free. Equality, and I will be free. Thank you.
And now, for a message of inspiration and guidance, let's welcome Father Selvaraj Arunathan, the director, who will share a few words with us.
Friends, good evening. The last speaker usually gives the light to the chairs in front of him, so that at least they will be alive to listen to him. I am happy at least nearly half of you are still here. I know it will be very difficult for you to go home if I leave you late. So I promise to take less than 5 minutes. Is that fine with you? Okay. So respected Dr. Professor Jay Shankar, I know you all really, it's very, very informative. Sometimes you may feel little loaded, but very informative, not only very informative, it's very important for us, especially students. You are all fully into all this online and the digital world, and I think it's very important to know what are the digital crimes and online crimes that can happen, where sometimes without our being aware of a become the perpetrators of such crimes, but a lot of time we will become the victims of such crime. I don't want any of you, my dear people, to become victim either side. So that I think that from that point of view, it's very, very informative and very, very important. Thank you so much, Professor Jay Shankar. Of course, Ma'am Katyani Samraj, I have nothing to say big about because I know the last 12 years when I was first landed here, one of the NGOs that was very familiar with the ISA was the Civic Club. That is where Ma'am Katyani Samraj, I know how much work she has done. So we are very, very happy and proud to have both of you here. Now, I will give a little background of this whole idea of this Human Rights Week celebrations. When I came in 2012 and 13, I used to go to St. Joseph's College on these days. They used to have 3 days those days. And 3 days only at St. Joseph's College, and a lot of people used to come there, and we had wonderful programs. But when I took over as a director, then I suggested in some of the meetings, and then we made it possible that instead of having it in only one place, that we can also spread it out to other institutions. That's how we were able to see that one. And when I come back now, I'm very proud and happy. Some of the colleges which are not part of this whole process also now, like Acharya is here. We have also regularly Mount Carmel. We have got newly with the Aloysius College when we are here. Of course, IS is there. St. Joseph University as a kind of our mother organization. Of course, there are the number of institutions like Sikram. We were all partners to this one. And I also see, I'm very happy that the number is increased. Thanks from ISS and Father Francis Barnabas. Father Francis, I really would like to give a big hand to Father Francis Barnabas. Because for all the program that is conducted in ISI, by ISI, I think he is in charge and he does all the programs and plans meticulously, and his commitment is something very, very superb. So this I would like to do. Now, from where do we go from now on? Okay, we have in Bangalore, we have got 4 or 5 colleges joined us, and the number of NGOs and then other human rights defenders we all joined. But is that enough? I think we need to really ask this question, is that enough? I think it is not enough. Like Karnataka is, at least in the last couple of years, Karnataka is nationally known for the new type of a political consciousness that they are creating. Like we know the Egaru Karnataka, all the leading political parties were taking note of what they were doing. And it is not an NGO, it is not a kind of conglomerate NGO, it's simply the assembly of individuals that they made themselves as Egaru Karnataka. What my dream about the whole Human Rights Week celebration, I think you said this is a beautiful thing. Is it possible to make this Human Rights celebration as a really a big students festival and NGOs festival of Karnataka, Bangalore? Maybe we should be able to see that we are not able to hold this program in any of these institutes. So we will be going to Freedom Park, we will go to another big place where we are able to bring maybe a few, not only a few thousand, maybe some 10,000, 15,000, 100,000, like that is. And slowly, is it possible to make this week, this Human Rights Week, a kind of a special week for all the students, maybe high school students, college students, all the NGOs, and through them we can reach out to the people at large and then tell them that this is what we are aiming at. My dream is that India does not only have human rights, but we also have social justice issues. It's not simply individual justice issues. Human, social justice issues, which are affecting the people en masse, community after community is affecting. And very unfortunately, formerly these issues were by the different individuals, by the different societies. But today, it is the government, it is the people's representative who perpetuate this kind of injustice.
Either it's on the basis of social justice or the basis of individual justice. It is the government, it is the people representative, they perpetuate a system where we are kind of caught up in the web of injustice. I think this is not formally individual when we went to the court. The court is not there, they went to the parliament. But today, the only hope for us, the whole people, the people. And it is our duty to take the whole idea of this human rights to the people. And we have the greatest person who brought social justice to the world, Dr. Ambedkar, and he is from our own land. And following his footsteps, we need to take that in India, nobody will be bereft of justice either in the name of justice as per se or social justice. We need to really fight, and the only way to fight is to take this whole idea of human rights education to the people at large, and it is possible by you and me, because we form a big organizations, the educational institutions, the conglomerate of the NGOs and people's movements, and through them we have to take to the people. And Karnataka, as I said, Karnataka has shown model to this country in many ways. Even this whole idea of a reservation or affirmative action, it is Karnataka, the Mysore kingdom which is showed the way. Maybe of course Baroda, then of course it is in the constitution been enshrined. So that way also Karnataka has been leading to bringing justice, bringing social consciousness to the people. I think today it is we as a students community, as the NGO and the human rights defenders community, it is we who have to take another important segment of this society to another greater level, that is the whole idea of human rights education. We have to take it not only to Bangalore, not only to the few college campuses, to Bangalore and large, and then offers to take it to whole Karnataka. Then through this, is it possible for us to take it outside the state? We can take it to the whole country. I think this is one of the responsibilities that lie before us. We need to really take it forward, and I really thank all the people who came here, and I know there's a huge enthusiasm, there's a huge spirit that is being come upon now. I could see the type of people, the quality of people coming into these kind of programs. It is very, very heartening. But at the same time, we have miles and miles to go. Miles and miles to go. I would like to again give you a reminder about the point that Robert Frost used to say, which our beloved Jawaharlal used to keep on his table. The woods are lovely, dark and deep, and promises I have to keep, and miles to before I sleep, and miles to go before I sleep. I think with the human rights, we have done wonderfully well so far, but that's not enough. We are all with you, students, we are with you, the institutions are with you, the number of NGO conglomerate, we are all with you, but we need to take it to the next level. Next level to whole Bangalore, next level to whole Karnataka, next level to whole country, because we have given a lot of models. Karnataka is capable of promoting new models, and in human rights education we need to take this one. I think this is very, very important for us. There are people who help us to take it that level, and we are willing to do that one. Together, we can really win over. Again, the last words I want to say, the words of Martin Luther King, we shall overcome, we shall overcome, we shall overcome someday. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Father, for your thought-provoking words. As we near the conclusion of this remarkable evening, may I request Assistant Professor Selvaraj Selvin to express his gratitude.
It is my immense pleasure to propose a vote of thanks for today's inaugural ceremony of Human Rights Week. We have our chief guest among us, Professor Dr. K. Jaishankar. We thank Sir for his insightful session on cyberspace, how it is connected to human rights. And we have guest speaker, Ms. Katyayani Chamraj ma'am. Then we thank Reverend Selvaraj Arunathan Father, for giving us the space and to do the programs in much wider. And we have the song which is performed by St. Aloysius College Choir. We thank them. Followed by we have students from Acharya College who recited the poetry. And we thank all the organizers and all the NGOs and especially Father Balraj and other students who have come to collaborate with Human Rights Celebration. We require your cooperation throughout this Human Rights Celebration for complete stretch of 10 days. So thank you everyone.
Let's conclude this wonderful evening by standing together with the singing of our national anthem.
जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल गंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्चल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जाने तव शुभ आशीष माने गाहे तव जय गाता जन गण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे
I'd like to thank everyone for being a part of this remarkable evening. I wish you all a wonderful evening.